Asi, and guys, welcome to my session. I am Dr. Ashwini Aggarwal, and I'll be taking you through an hour of an innovation journey. So, shall we start the journey? I take it as yes. I take it as yes. Okay. So, guys, quick question back to you. Uh, what do you understand from the word innovation? What is innovation? Something new. And what's your name? Tanay. And anybody else? To bring some changes in it. Anyone else? So innovation is an idea which is executed, which is implemented. Okay. So there can be good ideas and ideas can be innovative, but innovation is the act of converting it from something which is a concept to an actual realization of it. Okay, and it's my pleasure to actually address this group on this topic, which is sort of a favorite of mine, and I'll be taking you through it over the next few minutes. But let me start by inviting you to a quick energizer. So, thank you and welcome back. So, once more, I'm Dr. Ashwini Aggarwal, and I'll be taking you through a view of the innovation process, the concept of and entrepreneurism, and also a view on some of the uh, mechanisms that are available today for people to, you know, be a successful entrepreneur. So, what the startup environment is like. I'll try and give you a quick view of it. Uh, I have a lot of slides, but I'll try and take you through a perspective which will also involve some fun and games and also be, uh, really aimed at building uh, a perspective in this world of entrepreneurship and startups for you. So let's actually get some energy in the group. People are not responding back. Okay, so uh, a creative thought, एक गेम है, ठीक है. There are 24 coins. There are 24 coins, one of which is heavier than the others. आप केवल 3 बार वे करेंगे, ठीक है. You can do a comparison weighing only 3 times, and you have to identify the coin that is heavy. How will you do it? And your time starts now. 1 minute. Size सेम है. उसने बोलना शुरू कर दिया. हाँ, आप बोलो. हाँ, ठीक है. अगर आप 3 ही बार वे कर सकते हो, तो आप क्या करोगे? आप बताइए. जिस कॉइन की वैल्यू, सारे सारों की वैल्यू फिजिकली एक ही है. जो पहले निकलेगा कि हैवी है, फिर उस 8 का क्या करोगे? हाँ, तो फिर अगला स्टेप क्या होगा? हाँ, हाँ, हाँ. अरे नहीं नहीं नहीं. आपका जो वेइंग स्केल है, उस पे आप 3 बार वे कर सकते हो. अब आपने एक बार में दो को कंपेयर करा, 8 और 8. तो आई एम सिंप्लीफाइंग इट. आपने 2 बार में वे करा, एक बार में वे करा 2 को, आठ और आठ, या तो वो सेम है या उनमें से एक भारी है। अगर सेम है तो तीसरा आठ भारी हो गया। ठीक है, सो यू हैव आइसोलेटेड द वन विच इज हैवी। फिर क्या करेंगे? अगली वेइंग कितने की होगी? फिर लेकिन आपके पास तो तीन बार ही वे करने का प्रोविजन है। एनीवन? डोंट टेल मी यू गाइस आर गिविंग अप। सबसे आसान तो सबसे जो डिफिकल्ट है वो तो आपने बता ही दिया था। आठ 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 का एक वे हुआ, पता चल गया कौन से आठ के अंदर है। अगली वेग होगी तीन तीन की। ठीक है, या तो वो बराबर है या वो बराबर नहीं है। अगर बराबर हैं तो वो उन दो के अंदर है, अगली वेग में वो आ जाएगा। अगर बराबर नहीं है तो वो तीन के अंदर आप सिलेक्ट करो कोई दो और वे कर लो, तीसरी तीसरी के अंदर वो आ जाएगा। ठीक है, एक्चुअली इतना मुश्किल नहीं था, बट यू आर गेटिंग एन आइडिया ऑफ इट। सो जस्ट फॉर बीइंग द फर्स्ट टू स्टार्ट द बॉल रोलिंग, व्हाट्स योर नेम? Soumya. Okay, so thanks Soumya and Taman, Tapan, Tanay. And we are just going ahead with the session. So let me quickly point out something about innovation. How many of you have done this? Raise your hands. Girls, anyone who has not subscribed to my card? Who has not subscribed? Everyone has subscribed. For the time being, I'll assume it. See, in the end, I'm giving a prize which will be a lucky draw from the people who have actually subscribed. So just try and complete that exercise. So let me start my main presentation, and the key messages are: we are at a very interesting stage in the evolution of human history. इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन एक नए फेज में है, एक नए एरा में है, और ये जो 18th और 19th सेंचुरी के जो आपका एनवायरनमेंट था उससे बहुत फर्क है। ठीक है, अगर आप इसको देखें तो इस एनवायरनमेंट में, सॉरी, इस एनवायरनमेंट में एक्चुअली अगर आप देखें तो आपका जो स्ट्रेटजी है, जो कल्चर है, ये बहुत बहुत इंपैक्ट कर सकता है आपके डिसीजंस को। और मैं इसका एग्जांपल लेता हूं। अब क्या है कि tremendous connectivity there is tremendous connectivity. You can access things physically relatively easier. You can actually access things virtually on internet very easily. So there is a huge connectivity, and with this the environment has moved to a stage where there is a huge competition. चाहे कोई भी फील्ड हो, इन अ वेरी कॉस्ट इन वेरी कैपिटल intensive field like airlines, there are so many different airlines traveling to the same destination. If you go to Make My Trip, there are so many airlines traveling to the same destination. Okay, so there is a huge competition in every field, whether it is a low cost, low capex field, or a high capex, high people intensive field. The previous industrial order, which was very line oriented, it's actually collapsing, and every business is getting disrupted in a dramatic way. A simple example has been the food business, which was supposed to be very simple. You have the Zomatos and Swiggies of the world totally changing the way the uh, food is reaching the consumers. It's no longer that we have to go out to eat. We do that. But so many times, it's so much convenient for my family to just order a meal and have an outing at home. Okay. So every business is getting disrupted. And These are simpler descriptions where you are only changing the business model. But then there is technology, and technology is changing so rapidly that it is crazy and it is so unpredictable that every business has to manage that uncertainty that it has to operate in. See, Charles Darwin made this statement. Is it the strongest person who will survive? The strongest species which will survive? Is that so? Question back. Dinosaurs were the strongest in their era, the biggest. They did not survive. So it is not the strongest that will survive. It is the species that is most flexible that will survive. Okay, and that is the reality. If you want to take a look at this type of world, okay, if you want to survive in this world, you have to think of what is it that will make a difference. Is it the strategy, or is the culture? Is it saying that, "Bhai, let me fix my sales numbers first, culture का तो हो जाएगा"? ठीक है? There are companies which actually try to do that. One of the companies that I worked for was one of the greatest companies that we have seen in the tech industry over the last century, and that is Hewlett Packard. Extremely innovative. Books have been written on its innovation culture. Okay, there is a point of time in its history. It got some global CEOs who took a call कि I want to fix my numbers. मुझे अपनी रेवेन्यू बढ़ानी है, मैं अपना नंबर्स देखूंगा, मैं अपने प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी को ही देख रहा हूँ. आई वांट टू मेक श्योर माय results this year are, you know, having so much of growth. So what happened was, when they did it, they destroyed the culture of the organization. What they did was, you know, we are all having phones in our hand, and most of us have smartphones, and most of us will remember that the smartphones were introduced to the world by iPhone, okay, by Apple. And yet I have seen a HP presentation in 1990. HP had a product called Palm Top, a computer that could come in your hand. And in that computer, in that era, on the DOS operating system, they used to give all the applications that you saw on a laptop, that you saw in that era on a desktop. It was so convenient working with it that, I had multiple ones, because each time I had one, somewhere, somehow it got flaked or whatever, and I would have to go and get myself a new one. And I can tell you, the 100LX, the 200LX palm tops, they were amazing. But what was most amazing was that I have seen a HP presentation, vision presentation, that said in the 90s कि a future product will come which will have a color screen where you can see the person you are talking to. You could make a call and you can see the person you are talking to. Okay, that particular device will permit seamless operation with multiple applications, and it will take a CD-ROM the size of a rupee coin. Okay, so maybe that memory device CD-ROM is no longer a round coin. It is actually a SD card. Okay, but it is a reality. It's a reality. HP as a company envisaged it, but when Mike Hurd as a CEO came in that company, it killed all such innovation projects because they were investments. He wanted revenue, so he cut down the cost to get that. HP was an innovation company. It used to invest a percentage of its earnings, substantial earnings, to grow that innovation envelope. और जब उसने उस इनोवेशन को किल कर दिया, वो डिवीजन बंद हो गई. ठीक है, और ये प्रोडक्ट अल्टीमेटली इट केम फ्रॉम एप्पल. So as an old HPite, I always believe that it was something which was actually destined for HP, but uh, uh, you know, God ruled it otherwise. So that's the point. Sometimes we get over obsessed with numbers. What really matters is actually something more. This question is asked so many times. अगर आपको अपनी कंपनी की परफॉर्मेंस ठीक करनी है तो किस चीज के ऊपर करोगे? क्या आप अपनी स्ट्रेटजी पे फोकस करोगे या आप कंपनी के कल्चर को देखोगे? तो आपसे पूछता हूं, आपको क्या अच्छा लगता है कि क्या क्या सही होगा? फिक्सिंग द स्ट्रेटजी कि मुझे अब इतने नंबर लाने हैं रेवेन्यू के अंदर, या फिक्सिंग द कल्चर बाय बैलेंसिंग बोथ ऑन दैट? यू आर रेडी टू जॉइन बीजेपी? Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. Okay. And anyone else? Culture in what sense? Culture in the sense of how people look at a task. Is it only नंबर्स कल्चर की मुझे सेल करनी है, या एन इनोवेशन कल्चर जहाँ पे आप एक चीज के ऊपर इनोवेट करना चाहते हैं, यू आर एबल टू टेक दैट रिस्क ऑफ स्पेंडिंग to create that particular innovation. Okay, so it's an interesting thought. A lot of times, large companies sometimes lose track and they lose their culture. They look at strategy, and yet सच्चाई ये है कि कल्चर जो है ना वो स्ट्रेटजी को खा सकता है और खा जाता है. It's only a matter of time because actually, if you take a look at it, strategy is about just it is just actions. It is all about intention. ठीक है. It will tell you कि अभी ये करो, and it will tell, but culture is about habit जो आप अपने अंदर से करेंगे. ठीक है. Culture is the value system that you capture in yourself. That is what actually distinguishes between a normal company and a great company. Culture is really the beliefs and values that you have. Okay, it is what grows as values in an organization. That is what a culture is. Okay, it is what is in the hearts and the minds of people. It is actually what drives or drains the energy of people. Okay, what excites you? What is your passion? It is the environment in which the business actually thrives. It is what actually creates innovation. And really, as one leader said, it isn't just one aspect of the game. Actually, culture is the game. Okay. Uh, Imagine an environment where everybody puts their heart and soul into the work. If you go to a coffee cafe day or Starbucks, take a look at what they are serving you. They're just serving you a coffee. लेकिन वो एक बिल्कुल डिफरेंट ढंग से देते हैं. You can get the same cream froth actually patterning a design on that cup for you. Okay, the environment in which they give it, the way they give it, can make all the difference in the experience that a user has out of it. And because of those innovations, they actually command a brand and a premium. Okay, so that is a very simple example of what passion and work can actually do. If you actually take a look at it, really the building blocks of innovation are this. You have to have a very strong shared vision. Okay, and once you build your culture upon it, the principles that define your organization on it, you build up your skills for that particular area. You build up your systems and process for that area, and you actually get into an execution. You really will be innovating on a big space. It's not that it can happen just like that. You do need to have a strategy even for innovation. You need to have your labs. You need to have people who will be looking at that innovation. Okay, you will need to have that mechanism, the funding, to be kept aside in your financial planning to provide for that innovation. Okay, you have to have that patience with people to be able to provide for that innovation. But when you can do it, you actually end up creating something beautiful. Okay, so let me have a fun game back with you. Can you prove 0 by 0 equal to 2? Anyone? You're all engineers here? Would be engineers. Engineers can prove anything. Anyone? कोई ट्राई करना चाहता है? Let me not lose time on it then. For the fun of it. So, uh, I don't know. There must be something as a mistake out there. Okay. Uh, just pass around. ये दे रहा हूँ इनके पीछे कोई QR कोड नहीं है, but they are so that you can fill up your names on it. Okay, and we will just do a lucky draw. आप इसको करके आगे, और कम पढ़ रहे हो तो मुझसे ले लीजिएगा. So we've just gone through a, what's that, कम पढ़ रहा मेरा? हाँ, बस केवल अपना नाम लिख दीजिए so that we can do a lucky draw. So better still, write how many of you are using LinkedIn? Everyone is a part of LinkedIn. Okay, so I conduct a workshop on LinkedIn, and I am a LinkedIn networker, so I have over 10,000 people community on LinkedIn, and I write some very interesting posts which can be on life hacks or technology, uh, and I will be giving you another QR code shortly so that you can link back to me. Okay, so just so shall I start on the next batch? अपना ये लिख लीजिएगा, and I'll collect it from you shortly. So shall we go ahead? Can you prove 0 by 0 equal to 2? Huh? What is the catch? That entire argument had a catch. You can't actually do that operation. But for the fun of it, you can always tell your folks that you can do the impossible. I went through one way of doing it, but there are other ways of doing it. 0 by 0 is also equal to 0 into 2 by 0. So knock off 0 by 0. It is 2 is left. 0 into 3 by 0 is also 0 by 0. You're knocking 0 by 0, you get 3. But you can't knock off 0 by 0. Okay, so back to the session, guys. So I want to take the next few minutes and move from innovation to entrepreneurship. Okay, innovation is you have an idea, you have actually done a proof of concept, you can, you have got it, you have realized it, but how do you take it to the real world? In this journey, a key player is the is the a key player is the entrepreneur. Okay, and a lot of time, you find entrepreneurs are getting created out of colleges now. Okay, straight from the business, so straight from academic environment, people are getting into businesses, some of them with brilliant ideas and with huge wealth creation realities. So what is an entrepreneur? How does he come into an existence? Well, an entrepreneur is a French word, and it means somebody who undertakes, who does things. Okay, there is really no single definition of an entrepreneur, but the reality of it is that it is a key driver of economic activity. In any economy, the entrepreneurs make a lot of difference. They create a lot of jobs, they create a lot of wealth. Okay, a classic example is the US economy which has its success totally attributed to entrepreneurship. There are areas in US which actually are the the uh, uh, are literally the cradle of entrepreneurship. California being one of them. Okay, uh, if you take a look at this particular latest India Today that came about a month back, it focused on entrepreneurship in India and in small second tier towns. And there are so many success stories out of it. It featured about a score of Indian entrepreneurs, small businessmen who are not small, small town businessmen who are not small. The collective wealth created by these small businessmen totaled over 400,000 crores. And that is crazy. Coming from a small town, some of these players really became big. Some of these players are now management case studies. Gopal Kaka, who's shown here, this gentleman created a jewelry export business, and he is a management case study. Presents an IM on his work on the value system that he created in his organization that grew his business to the level that it grew. It's his personal wealth is attributed to 4,000 crores. He has all the fancy cars. If you take a look at the article on his uh, uh, his page in that particular magazine, has his own personal aircraft. I didn't know that there were businessmen in India, small town businessmen who are actually doing it. But crazy. Uh, there is someone who actually started a physics education portal, Physics Wala, whose personal wealth is now attributed to 4,000 crores in less than 5 6 years. So, really, by finding a need and filling it in a unique way, there's a huge wealth getting created at this point of time by some of these entrepreneurs. So, there are some fundamental differences between these classes of people. I'm a manager, okay, a person who coordinates people, processes, resources on a daily business. My risk taking capability is very low, okay, because of my background, my environment. I never actually went in for a business of my own, nor am I really enthused. I have to do a business of my own, okay. uh, the culture in the family was on academics and padhai. I went in for my professional normal treadmill. I haven't done badly, okay. I haven't done badly. I have, because of my academic success, because of my professional success, I'm a part of big multinationals. As a result of it, my ESOPs or my stock options take me into a huge wealth, okay. But I'm not a risk taker. On the other end, there are people who are entrepreneurs who sense opportunity and take risks. Small business owners, they also take risk, but they take risk to a great extent in conventional businesses. Okay, sometimes the entrepreneur is going where no man has gone before. Literally, a new type of a business. Okay, a new business model, a new product, and it's crazy. The startups, the entrepreneurs, they have a different passion with which they are approaching the world, and they can really create new business paradigms, and that is the interesting part of it. Okay, people pursue entrepreneurship for a whole lot of reasons, okay, but really one of the most important reason is they're really driven by the first point, that is they're passionate about an idea, okay, and they want to prove that idea, and that's where it gets the real fire starts happening. uh, we see such people day in and day out. I am also, my company has startup accelerator program. So we are a tech company, and we invest, we look out for startups, and we look out for startups in high tech areas. Okay, not even the normal sort of startups that are seen by the Indian startup community. So we have seen startups who actually went into 3D printing, okay, of human organs. Okay, uh, or people who are working on chips, which are photonics application for delivering a new class of bandwidth out of that chip design for data server applications. Okay, it's crazy the sort of uh, tech problems, real world problems that some of the entrepreneurs can really try and take on and address. And there are huge risks involved with such games. And then there are mechanisms how these people play in it. You know, these risks almost made it impossible for a person of my era to get into business. Very difficult. We had a reasonably stable family. The culture was not of taking risks. Okay, we never went in for it. Today's culture is absolutely different. Okay, my one of my son-in-laws is actually in a startup. Okay, uh, if you take a look at it, when I uh, was looking for sons-in-laws, so to speak, I would never have imagined that I would get a son-in-law who would be a startup. He was supposed to be an engineer who would be in getting a job in a multinational, okay, and who would have very stable professional career. My daughter, uh, both my daughters are very bright. Okay, both of them are married now, by the way. They, the younger one, she topped All India CBSE class 12, and she went on to do her MBA from IIM Bangalore. And while she was there, she met this young man, and they both fell for each other, and they married. And would you believe it? She went in for McKinsey, big salary package, hugely stupid work hours. Okay, he went for a startup. Okay, he went for a startup. He also had consultancy company offers. He said, I don't want to do that. I don't think there's a future in it. Okay, uh, he went for a startup. Okay, he was a manager in a startup. 3 years down the line, he moved on into another startup. He's in Dubai now with my younger daughter, and he's flying. There's no other word for it. He's flying. So there is no set path to a success. You can create your own paths, especially in this era. And that is what entrepreneurship is all about. Okay. You definitely need skills to do it, but passion is the biggest one that makes a difference. Uh, Entrepreneurship and startups today are exactly like a major business. When I interact with startups, it's it's exactly like operating in a major business. Typically, you do get a reasonable comment to your salary. There is a risk to it because if a particular company is giving 100 lakhs, the startup may give 40 lakhs and say 60 lakhs is going to be your ESOP. Okay, and that 60 lakh is at risk. But then that 60 lakh can multiply much more. Okay, and it requires a lot more commit to stay on with that company because you have to stick on till the point that it actually converts into a saleable asset. But it is almost like doing a job. Okay, you go that route if you have a passion for it because there is risk that is associated with that particular route. Okay, and what are the risks? The risks are you lose a stable income. You do have to work very, very hard. Your expenses are a reality. Okay, if you are a startup founder, then you actually have to fund your people before you eat yourself. Okay, your startup costs are not small. Normally, the family is not there to help you. Okay, and if you don't make a mistake, everything is your fault. Okay, you did research, and it's not easy thinking that you are your own boss. It's not easy at all. So there are lots of issues there. People may not totally find this palatable. Okay, the reasons of failure can be many. Okay, high debt ratio. Okay, mismanagement, unprofessionalism. You don't keep your people with you. Inadequate inventory, so you're mismatching between what you are producing and what the market wants. You're selling products below cost. You think that by selling products below cost, you get market share, but you're burning capital at such a rate that you're not able to sustain your business. Okay, a lot of times companies which are doing it, they are burning the shareholders' capital, the venture capitalists' capital. It is not a sustainable model. But the moment they actually realize that they have to take corrective action and take that correction, suddenly the business fortunes can change. Classic example are businesses like Bazu, Zomato, which were burning venture capitalist money, okay, to subsidize the delivery of food to the market, to really hope that by subsidizing that they will get the homeowners to get addicted to a new way of ordering and taking their food consumption. Okay, and yet it is a gamble. So declining profits, loss of market share, but long before that, it is declining profit and declining faith in the business. What you really need to realize is that it is what you believe in, that is what will carry you through. So many times there will be believers that will be there for you, and most of the times, much more than that, there will be naysayers, people who will say you will not succeed, ये नहीं होगा. ठीक है, remember that video, think again. That's what happens. It is a very, very trying journey. But if you can actually keep onto your path, if you believe in yourself, if you are conservative in your use of financial resources, if you are creative, if you are lucky, you can actually have an unusual success in the marketplace. So these are skills, but I'll not trend of it. The key skill, of course, is to be aware of what is happening in the market. You know, something I learned way back when I did my MBA was, and it is true even today, if you have to succeed in the market, you have to know your customer. Okay, if you start with your customer, you can never go wrong. One of the reasons Amazons of the world are that much stronger than rest of the people is because they have made us addicted to that mode of taking their product, taking our products off their site. Okay, now that is very interesting because in the process they have totally changed the business model that existed for companies like Unilever's, where you have a manufacturer who sells to distributors who take huge stocks, and then they are selling it to sub distributors who are distributing it to retailers who is selling to the end consumer. एंड डू यू नो व्हाट हैपेंस, जो रिटेलर होता है ना, अगर आप उसके पास माल लेके जाते हो और सब डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर के पास माल छोड़ता है तो पे नहीं करता. वो कहता है ये बिक जाएगा तो पेमेंट ले लेना. तो जो सब्डी होता है ना, वो हमेशा क्रेडिट छोड़ता है मार्केट के अंदर. और ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, फॉर मोस्ट सबडीज दे कांट कंट्रोल द क्रेडिट दैट दे हैव गिवन. So their credit starts increasing and they have several terms credit given to the retailer. It is a retailer who is controlling the entire value chain because he is the one where the cash is coming from the customer. It is the customer is controlling. In case of e-marketplaces like Amazon, they control the customer. Okay, so there's no way they can lose out on it. They're empowering a lot of small businesses to reach to the customer, and that's again a strength to them. So you're getting a view of what makes a difference. It's the passion and it's the knowledge of the customer which makes a whole lot of difference to them. Okay, there are a number of businesses which are there, different business models that can be there. Okay, you can look at these ideas up. There will be all of you are on LinkedIn, you'll find forums dedicated to entrepreneurship out there, ideation in different fields which you can build upon, and you can actually select what your interests are, what your hobbies are, and build out your program from there. some of the options that you had, which I saw, some of the ideas which were implemented here in Manav Rachna were when I visited a few years back, there were startups who were focused on taking STEM education out to schools, which is a big need. Okay, but it's still a conventional business. Sometimes you get opportunities from the market. For example, solar. There is a solar lab that is set up here. Okay, it is using software called Solar Labs. Solar Labs actually permits you to design that entire, you know, rooftop solar deployment on the computer before you even set it up. आप वहां पे साइट पे जाके यू डोंट स्टार्ट पुटिंग योर पैनल्स एंड सीइंग कहाँ पे ठीक फिट बैठेगा या नहीं. You actually know exactly how much length of cable you'll need, what is the structure you have to create, how many panels it can form. You can do all sort of permutation and combination to decide what will be the optimum number of panels that you can deploy on the site, and that is a business. Okay, so they have actually created a scalable business model where they've created the software, design software, and they're selling it on the net as a service, and it's a big opportunity. But then it's a big opportunity at individual institute level. IIT Bombay has a startup called KWAT system. KWATS actually is an executioner in the field. And what it does is it takes rooftop solar projects and it creates that. So it's an integrator, and it also sells rooftop solar trainings. So between the two, it creates a business model where it is able to sustain itself. It's already running into, several, I think it's about 40 crores or so of turnover. And again, it's a startup which has reached 40 crores, which is not bad. And it is a good margin business. Okay, it may not be the most aggressive most aggressive business model, but it's a good new gen technology business model. And because solar is exploding out at this stage, this particular business is a very apt, timely business to grow into. So again, this is how an opportunity can come and grow. If you manage innovation, uh, you have a lot of issues. For example, in corporations, sometimes you have to balance uh, ideation creation, and you won't create those ideas in your normal business structure. So, a lot of times, corporations jettison that idea into an in house corporate startup group, जो उस आइडिया को इंक्यूबेट करती है, जहाँ पे वो आइडिया जो है प्रूफ ऑफ कंसेप्ट में बनता है और उसको फिर मार्केट को लेके जाते हैं. एक एग्जांपल लेता हूँ मेरी कंपनी के अंदर. माय कंपनी इज अ वेरी बिग टेक कंपनी. It is currently valued, and there was a point of time earlier this year, it was valued at about 140 billion dollar. Okay, that's nearly 10 lakh crores. And in this company we generate a huge, there are 15,000 patents. uh, India is the global engineering hub. There are about 7,000 people here. यहाँ पे it's not a call center, it's an engineering hub. Every fourth person I encounter will be a PhD, and it's a hard engineering group out there. So one of the things that we do is, for our businesses, we use artificial intelligence in semiconductor manufacturing applications. Then they said, can we take our technologies and use it in some other sector? One of the sectors we are looking at is healthcare. And in healthcare, they want to use it for a whole lot of applications, creating special coatings on pharmaceutical molecules. Okay, so that that can change properties, and if it is given, that medicine is given to people, it can be triggered in specific, after specific time in human body, at specific locations in human body. Okay, that's one startup, this ALD coating startup, which is now being jettisoned as a separate company. Another startup that I am a part of is actually doing artificial intelligence for medical application, for cancer detection. So typically what happens is, when cancer is, some patient is suspected for cancer, they will take a biopsy sample or a tissue sample on a slide, and a pathologist will actually look at that slide and try and look at the cells and see can he see a cancer cell in it. लेकिन आज की टेक्नोलॉजी ये है कंप्यूटिंग की, यू नो दैट कंप्यूटर्स कैन एक्चुअली कैप्चर द इमेज डेटा. ठीक है. सो जब शुरू हुआ था इन 60s, कंप्यूटर्स यूज्ड फॉर काउंटिंग, very good at counting. That's how it started. It went for first application of financial accounting. But now computers can also be used for graphics application. So what this application does is it actually takes an image of that biopsy sample and counts the number of cells in it. Same counting, but now it's counting number of cells. And it can do so much better than a human. A human will only take a look at it. He can make some errors in it. He can only count up to a particular level. Since he is counting slide after slide after slide, वो थक जाता है एक दिन के अंदर. पैथोलॉजिस्ट के काम में errors आ जाते हैं. But machine can do it so accurately and can generate a give a report which says this has cancer, this does not have cancer. Now this is an innovation, and it is an innovation which is being taken out in a corporation. Some point of time, the company may decide it's taking too much of resources. Let's not go ahead with it. Let us sell it off to somebody else and move out of this. This is not our core business. They can decide, let's spin it off as another company. Let this product go to the market as a separate company. These are the way, corporates can actually make innovation happen, and they do make innovation happen. Okay, which brings me to yet one more aspect of innovation. So you can decide to do it in-house, you can actually jettison it off. These are some of the ways innovation can happen. A lot of time, startups can be funded by large corporates. Okay, so there are different ways and means that these things can evolve. Uh, this is the age where these new gen businesses can grow very, very rapidly. And these gazelles and unicorns are really what a lot of private equity firms actually look out for and try and understand and back. Typically, they support businesses. Okay, they support businesses. So, for in corporate businesses, the key thing is don't kill a project, let ideation come out. That's the culture they want. Tolerate failure, keep divisions small, motivate the champions, stay close to the customer. Sounds very simple, but this is what was missed out by HP when it actually closed certain key businesses. Okay, one of the things which really happens in today's environment is that you have incubators and accelerators. Incubators and accelerators are again a key part of the entrepreneur's journey in today's world. What happens is that incubators give an environment where the business is actually hashed. They will provide you seed money sometimes, they'll provide you mentorships, they'll provide you infrastructure. For example, there is an incubator in Delhi University in South Campus. It is called Electropreneur Park. It's meant for electronics companies. वहाँ पे सारा testing setup है. People can actually design their product there. Okay, every 6 months they take a season of entrepreneurs, and those entrepreneurs who are selected are coached over a period of 2 years. They get the place to sit in, they get the support to of the mentors, and they may even get some seed capital. They will also be introduced to the venture capitalists, private equity firms, who may decide, and they have to sell their idea to them. They have to develop their product and move from that product to a stage where they are creating the market acceptance. If they can create the initial market acceptance, they will be picked up and taken to, they'll be picked up by a venture capitalist who will invest in their work, give them capitalization, and make them grow to the next level. Typically, what happens is that funding takes place at a time when you have not only got your proof of concept done, you have got not just the product, but you've also got your initial market established. If you get a customer in place, money will follow. Okay, so that is the fundamentals of that. So once you actually have an idea and that initial point established, The next important part of an startup entrepreneur's journey is when he's actually moving from that stage to an accelerator. So I went to this institution in South, and as one of my roles as the chair for India Electronic and Semiconductor Association, we wanted to build up the startup, community in the country. We wanted to take a proactive look at it. So I want to tell you, I went across a score of startup incubators across the country. IIC Bangalore, IIT Delhi, FIIT, uh, IIT Bombay. But the most exciting one that I came across was an institute in Bil, uh, in Belgaum, okay, Hubli in Karnataka, and this was Keli Tech. And at Keli Tech, what I went there, they had first huge, embedded electronics classes and projects going on in the campus. A lot of actual, project making was taking place in the campus by the students. But then I went to the incubator, and the incubator, they were the startups who were showing me their products. They had made something which they were actually giving to various people for they said कि ये एक यूएस कंपनी ने प्रोडक्ट ऐसा बनाया है, उसका 15,000 रुपए का है, हम ये 6,000 रुपए में मार्केट करेंगे. So like we said, why are you marketing at 6,000 rupees? How will you make profit? They say हम 3,000 में बना रहे हैं. Okay, so that's because he's a young boy, he shared his cost structure. But imagine, they had a very good product that they had got as an actual physical thing that they were showing us, that they had a price point and a way to go to market. But then, if after making the initial sales, the more interesting thing is the incubators moved in Kelly Tech to their accelerator. An accelerator was a separate building in the campus, and Kelly Tech, in the first 5 years of its existence, it had moved about six businesses into accelerator, of which two businesses had crossed a turnover of 100 crores each. Okay, and one of them, when I went, was going to move out of their campus to a new facility a few kilometers away because they had been invested in by some other company. It was a biotech company, and they had been invested by a larger company who was building a complete factory and a building for them, and they were to go there and continue their work from that particular premise. So that is the sheer power of, you know uh, innovation and belief in yourself that actually they were able to drive. So they had created a product which was found to be of value by the market by somebody in real terms. Their business was employing close to about 800 people. They were already a 100 crore revenue operation, and they were valued to significantly higher capitalization, and they were planning to move out to a new premise. That's actually the power of incubators and accelerators in real world. So I think the key message here is sometimes jobs and opportunities are created beyond the conventional method. And I'm sure as you go through your journey, you'll find these as real experiences, whether as a corporate person or as an actual entrepreneur, you will find such experiences in your life. Cherish them, learn from them, and if possible, look if in your era you want to be an entrepreneur. That's totally your personal decision, but it is an interesting decision, not as ridiculously to be ridiculed as it used to be in my era. Okay, so that is all that I have to share with you today. My suggestion is this: on this, there is another QR code, and this QR code is for my LinkedIn profile. Okay, do snap it before you go and join my LinkedIn network.